It's recording now.
All right. Hi, everybody. Hi, Kimmie.
Hi, Lorena. Hi, everybody.
Hi. So it's Kimmie and I are doing another video. So today we're doing quantum jumping, timelines, and the mandala effect, and maybe more, depending on how far we get.
Maybe
Anyway,
more stuff. You know us.
Yeah. Because we also at some point want to talk about ETs and multidimensional beings and stuff again. But
people
anyway.
want to know this stuff. It's coming up more and more. So
yeah, and we've had some weird internet issues. So hopefully this is going to record properly and it won't freeze up, or you'll be able to see and hear us. That's anyway. Just wanted to say that. Anyway, so. Let's see. So we're going to talk about quantum jumping. We're going to start with that. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know a whole lot about it, but I have, Bert Goldman has a book on quantum jumping, and I think he's the first person who came out with quantum jumping. And I think Cynthia Sue Larson also has a book on quantum jumping. Anyway, so it's pretty interesting stuff. So what it's about is it's connecting into parallel realities. So what you're doing is you decide, okay, in this lifetime right now, I would like to learn how to, I want to do spirit paintings and I want to be a better artist. So, and I've had dreams about being on other realms and doing spirit paintings, actually. Especially when I was living in New York, doing a lot of mediumship training, psychic training. That's why I was having a lot of dreams doing that. So, and I would like to do that in this lifetime, because wow, what a great gift to have. Anyway, so say I want to do that. And I do need to be a better artist, but if you're tuned in, it's supposed to just happen automatically. If you know what I mean, because people do spirit paintings, they kind of just let go and it comes through them. But
interesting. Okay.
I think you do have to have some sort of familiarity with, and have you have to have some painting supplies too, so you can actually do that. Anyway, so what I would do is, so there is a parallel reality of me who can do that, and so what I would do is like, okay, and it's similar to other kind of manifesting reality creation techniques, where you say, okay, where is that? Where is me in a parallel reality where I already do that can do spirit painting, that is artistic, that is an artist who can paint these things? Because I would also like to paint multidimensional beings, the ones that I've seen, get them on canvas. So I need to be a better painter for that. So where is that person who can do that? So, okay, where is it? Okay, I do have that person. And so what you imagine, and this is how Bert Goldman talks about it, you have a doppelganger. It is you who looks just like you in a parallel reality. And so where is that? Oh, it's right here. Here's this person who is my doppelganger, who's already doing it in a parallel reality. So what you do is you go within, do a little bit of breathing. So you're relaxed. You imagine yourself. This is how he does it. You imagine yourself in a hallway. You open the door into the hallway, and at the end of the hallway is a door. You go down the hallway, open the door. There is your doppelganger who can already do the thing that you want to do. You open that door. You merge with that being that you are. Already doing it in that parallel reality, merge with it, and you imagine what it feels like to do that thing. And then you, of course, start practicing that thing. And he says that it really works and that you can actually, like he became, I think, a piano player, violin, I don't know. He has done this.
Really?
Things really, really rapidly. And so quantum jumping. So you're jumping into other realities, connecting with you that can do the thing that you want to do and making it happen now. I'll let you know I'm going to start doing that as far as like doing the spirit paintings and painting multidimensional realities. Anyway, that's what I know about that. And a lot of people talk about like, where's the reality where I'm making more money? That kind of thing. Where is that? So that, whatever. So whatever your needs are fulfilled, where is that? Again, it's the same thing. Now, I have done something similar, but with past life people, and maybe I've talked about this before, but so what you can do is and I've done this in healing sessions with people where I've seen them, like they were somebody in Atlantis who was doing, like they were a high priestess and they were doing healings and this kind of whatever, like connecting to higher realms and bringing that energy in and working with people. So I was working with this one woman and I saw her as this being. And so what we did was I connected her to this past life person where she was a lot more powerful. Bring in that energy of who she was then, bring it into now, do some techniques around that and do some breath work where you bring that in and merge with that element of being more powerful and merging with that so that you carry more consciously that in your lifetime now. Anyway, that's pretty cool. Yeah, so it's a similar idea. So say you were really psychic in a past life, and it's kind of similar. You're really psychic in a past life for good. So
hopefully not, yeah, devious.
And so that seer, so where is that? Okay, I'm going to connect with that past life, bring that energy in and connect with it. But you can do some breathing techniques around it and visualization where you're really feeling yourself merging with that part of you that is more powerful so that you carry it with you now. So it's a very similar thing, but one's working with past lives, one's working with parallel realities. Yeah. What do you think about that?
That's interesting. It makes me think about it makes me think deeper about healing even. So like how, everything's evolving in the past, coming from this whole idea in the past of like dealing with trauma, like you got to go back, you got to release the trapped emotions. And I do think that's valuable, but like, are we really evolving our healing techniques now to just be like, let's not, rather than go back and constantly revisiting the thing inside of us that was unpleasant, but like maybe using techniques like that to quantum jump to the part of you that's already healed. Like I know you've talked to me about this before, which was so foreign to me because I never was exposed to that kind of idea before. And just pulling that stuff in to bring in our healing and to bring in these more desired states of being.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so bringing in that part that is already healed, or bringing in that part that's already experienced that thing, and that gets into timelines. So jumping into timelines. So I do something where in energy healing sessions where I do timeline resets. So what you do is you go back in time to where those wounds were, and there's some techniques around that where you actually it's almost like jumping before the wound occurred
to a more
so you're it's not that it's gone, but you jump the timeline so that trauma, the energy of the trauma is released. So that's a way of working with timelines, but you can also go forward. And why not? I mean, since, so into like the future reality where you already are that thing, because you already are whatever you want to become. There is a version of you that does have that already, whether whatever that thing is, like
that future future version of yourself.
So you're connecting with the future version of yourself that is really, really successful and living, I don't know, wherever you want to live, and in that beautiful home. You're connecting with that reality and you're bringing it into the now. You're stretching it open. You're becoming, so it's connecting with that and becoming that thing. And then believing it. That's it. And then kind of opening up. It's like opening up that reality, because it does already exist. Yeah.
Right.
So, yeah.
It got me to thinking too when you were talking also, like are there, like, so you want to be tapped into this potential other timeline version of yourself who's really into spirit painting, but does it all exist? It's kind of like I was going to refer back to the Matrix. I'm kind of a simpleton this way. Like other things, like I'm always like, but like I guess what I'm saying is like any possibility that you want. Like say you wanted to be an astronaut. Like, is there a version of Lorena out there that's on the like traveling to space, and then you want to like bring in that version? But like, you know, I know it's kind of like a weird hypothetical question, but
sure, yeah, because I really don't want that, but yeah.
Like, do all the possibilities exist in the parallel lives?
Well, that's what they say. If you have a thought, that thought, and I can't remember where, this might be in the Seth books or something, I don't know, but that if you have a thought and that you want to do this, that there is an actual break off into that parallel reality of that existing, and depending on how much thought you give it is how much is created in it. Does that make sense? So there are many realities as there are thoughts, or you know, where do you want to go? What was that?
And ultimately we are creating those splintering parallel selves.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
this is actually what happened in the Everything Everywhere All at Once movie. All of her parallel lives were created by choices that she made along the way. So all the other choice she didn't make existed, and then she had to explore the other tapped in parts of herself that if they'd gone down this other pathway. It was pretty interesting. So it makes sense. Okay.
That's really interesting. Yeah. I there's something to that. And that's why it became a movie. Yeah. All right. So what do you have anything to share about timelines or timeline jumping?
No, I was just telling you like a little bit in our prep talk that for me, I get a little not tripped up by timelines, but because I've really experienced a lot for whatever reason, ancestral, like I had to do a lot of ancestral healing in my families because it was really weighing on what was causing some problems in my current life. And I wonder sometimes, like, is the jumping into I know that's more of a shamanic thing, like going back ancestrally, but that's a timeline thing. And also how I experienced one of those lifetimes in my genetics was me. I was that guy. Yeah. So, and it's just like, wow, well, is that genetic? Is that, is my past life stuff and my ancestral, those are all timelines too, you know?
Yeah, sure.
So,
but what do you mean that you experienced yourself as a man in a past lifetime? Can you explain that? That's quite interesting.
I've never told you the story. So it's going to tie in ancestry and it's going to tie in karma. And what I saw was I was transported to this man in Turkey. He was a man in Turkey. And I don't know how many generations ago this was. And he took a child bride, you know, way younger than him. That was who I didn't see this at the moment. And what happened was that was his bride who was going to have his children and stuff. And they had a family. But essentially, like, it was very traumatic for the woman. Like, she was so young and she was, I mean, I don't know what age she was. I mean, you know how that stuff was traditional and it still is in some parts of the world.
And so it was perfectly normal.
It was very damaging to her and very damaging to her psyche. And what that caused was this ripple effect that ended up in some patterns in my current family line that are between men and women and like improper sexual relationships. And I had to go back and revisit that and talk to that man and tell him the damage he did and have him clear, you know, and explain it. And then he ascended essentially and got healed. But then what they showed me at the end was, you have come full circle. And I'm like, what do you mean I've come full circle? And they're like, that was you. You had to clean this up because you started it. So, and it's just like, my mind was just like, oh my God. It was just like,
yeah. That's really interesting. Yeah.
It
And
was
was that,
pleasant to see, I'm not gonna lie.
what was that?
It was a really unpleasant thing to see, like, you know, that it's
Uh-huh.
but also really empowering to go like, wow, like the opportunities we're given to really cross the divide of time and space and to heal ourselves and heal other people.
Uh-huh. That's really interesting, and that it created this ancestral thing too. And yeah, that's full circle. That's wild. Huh.
So what is that? Is that like ancestry? Is that like timeline stuff? Like that's the stuff I can get
Yeah.
lost in loops.
Well, I think that's ancestry, but it's also it's generational, it's past life, and it's ancestral. But I think that ancestral and generational are kind of the same thing. But I don't know. I don't know if people are going to argue with me around that or not. But that to me, it's almost the same thing. Maybe there's some slight difference, but that what we carry from our ancestors, there it's very likely that we helped create it in the first place, or maybe not. Maybe you came in, from a different star system and wanted to learn some lessons around whatever issue. So maybe not. I know I've had many lifetimes on Earth, so many.
Are we hoping to get off this rock eventually? Is my joke. I want to get off this
I
rock.
know, right? You know what? I know a lot of people, and Terry was one of them, like, this is my last lifetime on Earth. I never really thought about that. It's just like, when I'm done, I'm done. It's okay, because I think the harder you try and get off of here, that creates some energetic drag, and you might really create
True.
something hard for yourself. So I don't know. That's kind of funny.
I know they talk a lot about, and this is like, and probably I shouldn't go into this, but like there's and you've probably heard of it, like where we are evolving to, like 300 years from now, they talk a lot about this future civilization of people on Earth that are like, God, I forgot the name of, but they're like so connected and they're so unified and like they work together in this beautiful harmonic way. And I'm like, okay, yes, I'd like to evolve to that, hopefully here.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
Sounds good.
The new Earth, like the whole new Earth thing.
Yeah.
Well, and I've had some sessions, and I've had a couple of BQH sessions, which Beyond Quantum Healing, which is a hypnosis. It's past life hypnosis, sort of like QHHT, which is the Dolores canon. So I've had that done on me, and I did see the new Earth and me being there, and I saw some Earth changes happening. Now, I don't even know how I feel about all that. I mean, I've certainly read Dolores Cannon stuff where we go towards that, and I want that to be true, that we do go towards it, and that going towards it is not going to be traumatic. That's my wish, but change is usually hard. And what I saw was, I saw ships showing up to help people. I saw people having been through some major earth changes but on the other side of it, and like, wow, that was crazy, but here we are now. And there's also some people are really confused about what just happened. So it could be in our future. There's a lot of information out there that's contradictory too, so I don't know. And I've done sessions on people who have gone to the new Earth, who see where it is a lot more harmonic and beautiful and connected to the Earth, connected to the energy of the Earth, and more in alignment with kind of where we should be. So I've seen that too. So who knows what the truth is. Yeah.
So I guess that can really be tied into, you think about, what's that book Brian Weiss wrote, Many Lives, Many Masters, about past lives. And then the whole idea, eventually he realized that he could not regress, but progress people to the future too. It's like, I'm guessing, I never even thought about, like, I know we're talking about these future versions of ourselves, but we could probably even, explore consciousness on that part too, and look at the quantum forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. That just made me think. I have had moments where I am so conscious, like in such a way that it's not my normal state of consciousness. And it happens more and more as time goes on, where I'm in this higher mind kind of state. So what you could do is connect with your future self, who is more conscious, and I mean really conscious, and connect with that energy and bring that in. That's sort of like also connecting with your higher self too, basically. But so what you can do is actually connect with your, say, 5D self, the 5D self that's already been through all those changes, and go, let's start doing this now. Let's start making those changes now. Connect with that in the quantum jumping realm. Okay, so I'm just going to take some deep breaths. Imagine that I am connecting with my 5D self. Walk down that hall, open the door, and merge with that part of yourself, so that you are experiencing that more and more now. Just a thought that I just had now, that you can do that. But
I guess limitless with your imagination, right?
You know what? It's about your imagination and what you can create from that, because that is the part of us that's conscious. Our imagination, you connect with that greater realm where everything exists. Open up your consciousness so that your imagination can create these things. Teaching psychic development classes and mediumship classes, what I see happening is that a lot of times, I just imagined that. People will say, well, I saw this, but that was just my imagination. Perhaps, but don't put down your imagination, because that is part of the tool. That is such a huge part of your creation tool. Is your imagination. So don't poo-poo that. Just know that's part of who you are, and you're connecting with that greater self. When the imagination kind of kicks the stuff into being. So you have to use it. You have to utilize it. That's where genius comes from, actually. And psychic stuff, and that's part of that realm. You have to use your imagination, and I think that's the left brain going, no, you just imagine that,
right?
Wanting to run the show, because it wants to run the show. Yeah. Anyway, and getting into, and I know I've talked about this before, but I had this experience once where I saw myself in the inner earth as and I think it was a fifth dimensional being, that I was a fifth dimensional being, and that and this was kind of it's hard to explain, because it's almost like an astral projection, bilocation, lucid dreaming combination, because I was awake, because I'd woken up out of a dream, but I saw myself lucid dreaming, so I woke myself up out of a dream. I was in inner earth, running through, just moving through inner earth, and I could see lots of inner earth, and I could see the aquifers and just the stuff that's there. But the thing is, the most remarkable part was that I was me here in my conscious mind, experiencing myself in inner earth, in this and I think it was fifth dimensional being. But the fifth dimensional being that I could feel was connected to, having this experience, had such a higher consciousness than I do now in this 3D reality, that I remember myself oh my God, that's what I want, is that mind, that consciousness was so much greater than me. And I remember connecting into that and feeling it and having that experience. And then as it's slowing down and me coming back in, going, no, come back. Because there was so much more clarity and understanding and everything, and just this higher mind, that I was just in that state. It was the ordinary state for that part of me that is not here and now. Does that make sense? That makes sense, right?
No, it makes complete sense. I actually just heard this one, and this is this one woman. I watched the Jeff Mara podcast, which is she was talking about her near-death experience. It was very unique because she kept popping in and out of her body. And
Oh,
she said eventually she got so accustomed to the true nature of who we are, and she met and popped into her true higher self and had that complete experience where she's like, oh my gosh, this is who I really am. Like, I can't believe this. Like, I can't believe that my smaller human self would ever think or forget this. And then
yeah.
she was being told she had to go back, and she's like, it was like trying to stuff I can't even think of an analogy, but like she's like, it was unfathomable to her human brain how the person she met, who she truly is, could fit into this version that she knows of her human self. So I was just like kind of blown away by that, hearing her testimonial about that, you know?
Mhm.
So yeah.
Wow, I'm gonna have to listen to that.
I'll just send you that one, but yeah.
Okay, cool.
And that's not
I
really
like
tied
that.
to the timelines, but it was like trying to, you know, kind of connect that with you and
Oh
understanding.
yeah, yeah. But and that's like that quantum dumping. So what? Imagine I'm that person again. Connect with that and bring that in, and yeah, ask for that to live more in that reality as far as the mindset, because we're still here. We're still
Right.
here, the 3D reality. But I think we have greater abilities to connect into with these other realities and really live them.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Yeah. All right. Anything else?
No, I think that's pretty much everything I had
Okay.
for quantum jumping and
Okay.
timelines today.
Okay.
And
That's
I
really
guess,
cool stuff.
yeah.
It's really cool stuff. I mean, it speaks to our limitlessness. And okay, just as a final thought, so all this remote viewing work that I've been doing is so much fun, and I love doing it, and I will continue to do it. But it's really what it does is open up your reality. So it opens up and questions who you really are. Who do you think that you are? If you really start dropping those belief systems, it is like the movie The Matrix, that this 3D reality that we're set in, that if you really believe that this, my cup of coffee here, but this is is this an illusion? Me drinking it, is that an illusion? Well, at a certain level, dropping what you think it is, it becomes something else, what you believe. Like, I wear glasses. I haven't been able to figure out how to not wear glasses. And that's okay. I'm fine with the glasses. See, that's okay. I'm fine with it. But at some point, I could get rid of them completely. It's a belief system that I need them. So at some point, I can drop that belief system, go into the matrix, find that blueprint that says, that Lorena is going to start wearing glasses at this certain age. Shift that timeline, change the blueprint, erase it, change the blueprint, put it in. Lorena's doesn't need that. That's the matrix we live in. If you can learn how to play in the matrix to shift and change things, I mean, that's what this whole thing is about. Drop your belief systems. What are your belief systems? What can you shift and change? And moving towards this new reality, because I think that with people's minds opening up to all of these things, that we can really shift and change them, because back to, we are superhuman. We really, really are. You have to try and access that. What did you say?
One of the gifts of this is my learning experience with perimenopause, and I think there's a lot of misconstrued understanding. There's a huge initiation that goes on with it, but I've had a lot of insomnia, and so sometimes in the middle of the night I have these epiphanies. And last night I work overnights, and I was doing my overnight, and I was up, and I just had this complete clarity. I was like 3 a.m. that I was listening to my inner voice. And like my inner, like your babble was like, well, you can't do this and you can't do that. And I was like,
exactly.
I have this like awareness, like it just snapped in. I'm like, that's me. That inner voice is me constructing the rules around my life. Like, but it's all me. Like, that's not coming from like in my belief system. Like, that's coming from other places. And I'm like, whoa, I'm constructing every single rule.
Yeah.
And it was really overwhelming because I'm like, I'm my own prisoner, like, or my
Yeah.
own warden.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I think Woody Allen talks about that in a movie. But
The power was the power and the
yeah.
unfamiliarity of that power that I have to
Yeah.
change that was a little bit terrifying.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, we're powerful.
yeah.
That reminds me, in matrix energetics, this is Richard Bartlett's work, matrix energetics. Part of the training, we did rule sets. So you create your rule sets. You actually consciously create the rule sets. And this is what for healing, but you can do this for your life. My rule set is this, 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 this. So when I do energy healing, this is how it's going to work. So you're creating the rules that you're living by. And it's an interesting concept that you can try and do. That's like, okay, what are the rule sets for my life that I've created that I'm living by? Because I can change those rules. I can change those set of rules. Anyway, just it's kind of in line with what you're talking about. So we did a lot of work around that when I did matrix energetics. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Fun stuff.
Where are you taking your remote? I know this is like the audience probably wants to know, where are you taking your remote viewing training?
Okay, well, I've taken some pretty intense remote viewing training, so I'm going to start with that over the past couple of, I don't even remember when the first one was, but so these are like, not like $20 classes.
Yeah.
but right now I'm doing it with Deborah Katz.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, and she's a great teacher because I've done some pretty intense training, like the CRV and TRV, and now I'm doing just remote viewing. Anyway, hers, the way she's teaching it makes the most sense to me. So her teaching is really working for me. I love it. It's so much fun. Yeah. So hey, check it out.
It's so funny you started glitching when you started glitching when you brought her up.
Oh, interesting. Huh. Anyway, it really changes the way you look at reality and your consciousness. So and I'm into that. That's my thing. So
yeah. I still got to work on Gerald O'Donnell's training too for myself.
Oh yeah. Oh well, his stuff's amazing too. That's like the deep trance stuff. Yeah. I love that too. Yeah, it's all good. Yes, fun explorations in consciousness.
Well, since we're like segueing to that, do you want to talk about the Mandela effect, everybody?
No, I don't know. Do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, like, I know we had it written down, but I mean, okay. I don't really find that it applies to my life.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I feel like the Mandela effect, I have not seen a lot of the things that people talk about. I have not experienced that. Yeah. So I'd rather do some quantum jumping. And maybe when you do that, you can see some Mandela effect showing up for you. Yeah.
We'll revisit this topic.
Okay. That sounds good. I think that's a good idea. All right.
And the last item we had down, which I don't have a lot of experience with, like in the way I think you're talking, which is as you've been opening up your quantum jumping and like remote viewing and stuff, is now even experiencing multidimensional beings.
Well, I've experienced a lot of multidimensional beings since I think I was about 22 or so. Yeah, 22. And but it seems like, and I've talked about some of these experiences on some of these videos, but recently I'm experiencing more like ET looking beings. Like the last one I saw last week, it looked like there was an Arcturian being that I think it was Arcturian, but it was only there for like a minute or so. And it was right in front of me, and I was meditating, and all of a sudden this kind of blue with slightly green, mostly blue, but a little bit of green tint, popped in front of me, kind of a little bit triangular face with the, typical ET eyes that are a bit slanted and big. And Anyway, and it felt female and very benevolent. And that was like a week ago or so. Anyway, and I've had a Palladian pop in once. Anyway, the more you get into this work, and we were talking about this, the more you get into this work, doing like remote viewing, and all this stuff, like parallel realities, more and more of this kind of stuff happens.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, just, and I hope that doesn't scare people.
It seems like it's always pretty benevolent. Like, I mean, I haven't really ever talked to anybody that's said like, oh, it was scary or like menacing. I mean, I sometimes like, I've only have this, well, I do have two experiences, but like, they're two different beings, but one of them recently is, I think this is going to sound, I think I'm having a multidimensional experience of myself. I'm assuming it's a Syrian existence.
Oh,
but it's a dolphin. And
cool.
I'll be sleeping and then like meditating, you know, sometimes when I have this insomnia from, you know, this time of my life, and I'll hear the clicking of the like the dolphin like in my head, and I'm like, I'll sit up. But I've been really aware of this purple dolphin person, like, or it's not a person, it's a purple dolphin. It's and it lives in this water world, and yeah, so
wow.
But sometimes just like the experience of the noise and it can be a lot for as you're deconstructing your reality in these times of who you were told you were as opposed to who we really are, and the real, you know what I mean? It's crumbling, and like these layers are starting to show themselves. The veil, I guess the veil is thin, right?
Yeah. Well, I've had several dreams lately where one was where I was on a Palladian ship. I don't know if I talked about that. Oh, I think we talked about it a little bit. I was on a Palladian ship and we were talking about food on Earth, and they were showing me what they eat. And their food is much more nutritious than ours is. And but anyway, what's funny is that seemed like this really big room, and there were other people there, and but from there I could see there was a big ship in the background, like a really, really giant kind of orb-like ship. But there was also a ship that was black, and I drew the shapes of them. Anyway, that was about a month ago. And there were other people, not just me, who were on that ship who were from Earth that we were. I'm not sure what exactly we were doing there, but so we were talking about the food on Earth, that's for sure. Because most of the food on Earth is not great for humans right now. It's part of what they were talking about. But also, I had another dream where, and this was in New York City, and they were showing me that there was some flooding going on. And now I lived in New York City. This was in like the southern end of New York City, and also Brooklyn, around Red Hook area. We were hanging out. Anyway, there was something happening with the water. So we were close to the water's edge. And there was and I was there on Earth. I wasn't in a ship. But I saw this ship go by that was kind of this orangey, glowy, orb-shaped ship, and we were all watching it. And then I looked down, and this thing was kind of the ship was energetically creating waves in the water. And I look over at this woman who's sitting to the left of me on the edge of the water, and I realized that she was not human. She looked human-like, but she was not human. And she was kind of glowy and sparkly, and like the skin looked kind of sparkly. Anyway, and I'm like going, oh, okay. And she's sitting there just smiling like, yeah, this is supposed to happen. So
relax.
That was a couple of weeks ago. So maybe that implies to some earth shifting going on, because she looked very like content and happy and like, yeah. And she's definitely not a normal human, because first of all, I didn't even think about it. She didn't have clothes on. She was just, and all kind of sparkly. So
Sounds Andromedan.
oh, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe could be, yeah. Huh. Anyway, so anyway, who knows? I mean, I've had a lot of, not a lot, but I've had ET dreams through, I think since I was in my 20s that I can recall. So definitely stuff happening with that. Yeah.
So when you start to open yourself up to timelines, things can just keep unfolding. It sounds like.
Yeah. 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 Well, and there's just, I thought we were going to end this conversation, but I guess not. But anyway, so I did have one experience when I was 20. I was 22, and I remember I just turned 22 because I had been sick and I was at home in bed, and I lived with my parents at that time, still back in Utah. But I had been sick, and I don't even know what was wrong with me. Never went to the doctor, and nobody in my family even paid attention to me that I was sick. But I was like in bed for 3 days solid, and maybe got out of bed like twice. I mean, I was that sick. And I was supposed to start a new job. So I had to get up and call and say, I can't start, I'm sick. But anyway, so they believed me, so that was good. But anyways, what happened, like during the day, in one of those days, I was sick. And I never went to the doctor. I don't know what was wrong with me, but I was really sick. And I was sitting up during the day, and I was just sitting there kind of like, okay, what do I do with myself? I'm sick. And I mostly just slept through that. But I was sitting up in bed, and all of a sudden I saw this again. I saw this level open up, like literally this level open up all across my room. So it was off in this direction. It was like this whole level open up. And I could see people like just on and on and on. There was tons of people off in the distance in this level. And they looked like all different kinds of people. Some were dressed in different time period outfits. And so some of these people started coming into my room, and I saw this couple come in, and they were dancing in front of me. It was a man and a woman, and they looked like they were like from the 1900s or so, somewhere in that time period. So they were definitely in old-fashioned costumes, and they were dancing, like doing a waltz kind of dance around my room. And I'm just watching. I'm like, and I'm kind of like, oh, that's so cool. Look at these people. Clapping and watching, and like, this is so fun. I'm getting, some entertainment here because I'm sick and I'm hardly moved. And I'm just watching him. I'm not thinking, oh, this is weird or scary. I'm just like, this is, it's like, this is fun. And all of a sudden the guy stops and circles around and offers his hand to me. And literally offers his hand out to me. And that's when I went, oh shit. And so I pulled the covers up over me, and I got like up to here. I'm like, okay, you can go away now. Go away. No, because this is not like, he wanted me to go with them. I mean, literally, I think he was offering his hand for me to go with him. Yeah. And I said, no, thank you. And I, excuse me. And so he just continued dancing, circled back around with this woman that he was dancing with, and went back in, and the level closed up. And that was it. Now, and then after that night, I did see there was a lot of beings hanging out that I did not like. And I'm like, okay, no, this is not fun now. It was fun, and now it's not fun. But anyway, so
kind of like your gut instinct had to kick in at that point where maybe you were, how they say, like, your free will, like, you can stop like anything by saying, like, I exert my sovereignty and my free will, and then it'll go away. So maybe they're creating a friendly atmosphere to get you to be like, yeah, I'll go with you.
Yeah. Oh, I think so. Yeah. Yeah. And there is a book that talks about parallel realities where people get stuck in different time periods that I have read. Oh, you got a kitty there.
Yes. A quantum jumping kitty.
Yeah. Anyway, I forgot what the book's called, but the guy's out on the circuit, something like Journey to the Bowden or something. It's a really interesting book, but it's a guy who hung out with some ETs and got taken away and experiences.
You froze a little bit.
Oh yeah, but anyway, he he saw some parallel realities where people get stuck and then it's really hard to get back out. So it could have been one of those things. I don't know.
Do you think it's like you kind of cut out, but do you think it's like I've heard and I've read like Jurgen Ziwa's stuff and like you know, the multidimensional man, that sometimes people will go to realms that are really close to the earth and they have a very like they can't even tell that they've passed.
Yes,
Like,
yes, it's like
you
that.
know,
Yeah. And I think that might have been what it is. That it,
and
this
people are still
parallel
working
reality.
jobs, like they still have jobs and they're like doing things that
Mhm.
eating food.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you don't have to do that stuff anymore. You know?
Yeah, and they don't even know. Yeah,
Yeah.
it could have been that kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, just another multidimensional parallel reality experience.
Well, we're glad you're still here with us.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
realm.
me too. Oh, yeah. Yeah, very interesting. Anyway,
Well, this is a fun talk. So
yeah, really, really fun. All right. So anyway, so I think we're done. Are we done?
yeah, it feels like I think for today, this is
Okay.
where we could stop and
Yeah.
we'll figure out what the next topic brings or what the universe brings us the next topics to discuss.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, that sounds great. All right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
guess we'll say goodbye. Bye, Kimmie. Bye, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. And let's see, do we have to say like, share, and subscribe, please?
Like, subscribe. Have a good one, everybody.
Great. Okay, you too. All right, bye.
Okay. The recording will be saved in meetings organizers.
Oh, so did you stop it?